7:00, it's time for Legal Lane. This is the segment of the broadcast week when Vanessa Lane Jennings joins us and educates us about the law. If you have something going on in your life or in the life of somebody you are concerned about, maybe they're going through a divorce, maybe they were in a car accident, maybe they're fighting with their insurance company, maybe the neighbor's dog is just being a nuisance. If you have a reason to be working with the legal system and you need some legal advice, this is a great time to call 622-9622. Vanessa Lane Jennings is an attorney who focuses on criminal law, contract law, small business law, family law. You get the picture. And she's, of course, with her own law firm, what is it again?
The Jennings
the
Law
Vanessa
Firm.
Lane Jennings Law Firm. Good morning, Vanessa. How are you?
Jennings Law Firm.
There you go.
Thank you, Robin.
There's so many things. You have a whole resume on here. I'm trying to cut to the
she's
chase.
great.
The Jennings Law Firm.
It's so confusing. So many things. Too much.
Oh, where's your picture? Hold on. There's your picture. There you go. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are y'all this morning?
Pretty good. Are you going to be at that thing that your sister's at? You said
Poking with the cause?
Yeah.
No, I am going to be at Beer Fest because the Jennings Law Firm is sponsoring
The Beer Fest.
The Beer Fest downtown.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Behind
Feel-
City Hall.
It's part of the Feel.
Robin loves that beer. She loves the
downtown.
whole idea of Beer Fest.
Oh, absolutely. But the Jennings Law Firm is sponsoring the pretzel necklace booth.
Ooh, now what
So
is that?
You get a beer pretzel necklace. So it's just a bunch of pretzels on a
Oh,
necklace.
man.
Real pretzels?
Real pretzels, yeah. So you could they're all different types of pretzels.
How come they didn't
So you
invite
could
us?
get-
We can do the Oompa. We can do the Oktoberfest.
Well, you're
Are we
more
too
than-
expensive? Is that why nobody called us?
Yeah, you said
Probably. No, I don't know why they didn't, but I will find
Tell
the
them next
organizers.
year. Well, I'm playing over Erica's thing, so.
Yeah, you're playing at
I
Dr.
can't-
Erica's poking for
A cause.
the March of Dimes, the fundraising event she's doing.
Okay.
It's poking for the Pee-wees.
Oh, is that what this one is?
Yeah,
Okay.
the last one was poking for a cause.
yeah.
But they're only
This is
getting
poking
half
for
of
the
my
Pee-wees,
uncle's friends
11%.
because Robin's going to be with her son. It's the day before Mother's
it's
Day.
Mother's Day weekend.
Yeah.
And my son's flying in from New York, so I have to
Well,
be with
you
my
should
son.
you should take him with you. He could get poked.
Yeah.
While you
Oh, no.
have you used Erica? This has nothing to do with the law. But
Missy
she's
has.
amazing.
I have not.
Missy has.
Missy has, yes.
Yeah.
I absolutely
She loves her.
adore her.
Have you?
Yes,
You've used acupuncture?
I have.
And?
I love it.
Is it too personal to ask what for?
No, I use it for, it's Eastern medicine. So that's just, she's my.
No, I know that part. But I mean, what physically was troubling you?
She's my general physician.
Oh,
So
okay.
I have a sinus infection. I go there. I have a pinched nerve issue. I go there. I go there for everything.
And?
She's always fixed whatever it was.
Always right away?
Nice.
Within 1 or 2 appointments.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, because she says she can't cure anything because that's, and then there's like air quotation marks.
Yes.
But because it's not cured, but it goes away within like 2 treatments.
So let's see. How do we transfer to the law? Do you think that healthcare is expensive because of all the lawsuits? Do you think that's part of it?
I believe that's part of it because there are medical malpractice insurance, at least.
So that's part of it too. So it's insurance, attorneys, and then the actual healthcare.
And then the healthcare system itself is just inflated. I mean, you break your wrist and you come out with a $10,000 bill.
I didn't even break anything. I went into.
I still have a $10,000 bill.
No, I have a $1,200 bill. But
Okay.
do you know what they did?
What did they do?
It just drives me nuts. I haven't paid it because I keep thinking maybe I should get a hold of you and say, can we write them a nasty letter?
I've done it before.
All right, but okay, I want to ask you about that in a second. But
Okay.
my thing was simple. We were in a car accident. Remember, we hit a cow.
Yes.
I didn't really get hurt, and Robin had a headache. So I said, well, let's
Right.
just be safe. Let's go for the headache. So I said, well, as long as we're going, I'll go in too. This was 2 days after the accident, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't it? Okay. So the doctor says, well, what are you here for? I said, well, to tell you the truth, I'm really here for Robin because she's got a headache. But my lower legs are kind of swollen, but I think they've been swollen for a while now. I don't know that that's what caused it. I don't know if it. So he reached down and through my pants leg, he touched my leg. Oh, that feels okay. I don't think there's anything wrong there. I said, okay, thanks. I didn't think anything of it. I took a gumball that they had in the little machine there.
And paid for it.
And chewed it was a grape one. I love grape gumballs. And then I got a bill for $1,200. I couldn't believe it. It's like, how did that work out to be $1,200?
Exactly.
And that's amazing because, what was a 40-second interaction?
Absolutely. And
he didn't even look.
But
he
if you
just touched his leg.
Didn't
He
even-
said through his pant leg.
But he can see through the pant leg. He has
Guess
magical
so.
powers.
That's right.
But if you look at the list of what was done, it looks like something was actually done. I don't know how you document examining a leg. But I could do that. Oh, you feel fine. You feel fine. I thought we had a phone call. Somebody must have called and decided it wasn't where they wanted to be. The phone lines are open, though. If you tried to call and for some reason you thought we didn't know you were on there, there we go. Okay, let me get the phone call now. Good morning. You're on the air with Vanessa.
Hi, good morning. This is Mike McCoy. Once I had a small cut on my chin. I slipped and fell and hit my chin and had it was a pretty nice little cut. And it was bleeding like crazy. And so I went up to Monroe, or as I lovingly call it, Death Row. And I was sat there for about 3.5 hours waiting to get seen. It was amazing what I saw, people coming into the emergency room like with a case of, he's got a poison ivy or something like this, because they rush into the emergency room because they've been itching for 15 minutes or so. But I sat there, like I say, for ages. And then they finally brought me in. I said, they called my name, and I went into the dreaded waiting room area. I guess they call it the staging area or something. And I sat there for about another at least 30 to 45 minutes. So in comes it wasn't even a doctor. It was I think a medical assistant or like a certified medical. He was qualified to do what he was doing. I mean, my God, it was just a little cut on my chin, but it did go to the bone. So he comes in and he gets the disinfectant and he puts on it and he said, yeah, you're going to need stitches. So he goes over and pulls out the drawer and pulls out the sutures and proceeds to put, I think there were 4 stitches in it. And I walked out of the door and they promptly handed me a bill for $1,100.
Wow.
And I said, well, it was $1,043. Okay, well, that's $1,100, no matter how fast you say it. But for $1,100, I'm going, man, I am in the wrong business. I need to close
I'm
my
in the wrong
auto
business,
repair
too.
shop and go into some kind of just sewing up sutures.
So make a legal
cuts
question,
on people or something.
Mike. If you could turn that into a legal question, that would help us.
Well, my question is what, and thank you for that. I appreciate it. Sorry about that. I had a tendency to go off on a tangent. How can they justify, I mean, I disputed it. I disputed this till the end because I was paying this out of my pocket. And finally, I ended up settling it with them for about $400. How do they justify charging that amount of money? I mean, how is that possible? I understand all of the the medical malpractice and so on and so forth, but how can they possibly justify that amount of money for such a little?
All right, let me make it into a legal question for you. The legal question I would ask if I were him would be, could he have settled it quicker if he had gone to you and you wrote a letter on his behalf? Because we can't write letters and say we have a lawyer unless we actually do, because that's illegal, right?
Yeah, that's practicing law
Yeah.
without a license.
Yeah. So if we go to you and say, we don't want to sue anybody, we just want you to write a letter for us, can you do that?
Yes, and I've done it before.
Okay.
Whether it's faster to use an attorney in this particular type of case, where it's a lower level, there's no actual injury, you're just contesting the price.
Right.
Or whether you can do it on your own. I mean, it's almost 50-50. But
Oh, okay.
some people aren't aggressive enough, or they don't have the personality, or they just back down, or they feel intimidated. And those are the people that I've helped in those situations. Because if you think about it, if they had insurance, the insurance company's not going to pay that entire bill anyway. The insurance company's going to negotiate down. They're going to pay 80%, 60%. They're going to pay a different percentage than the entire bill. So
Oh, that's crazy.
they have an incentive when you're to
Paying
get
it
money.
yourself.
Right. So that you can normally get at least some type of reduction, if not a nice
So
little
it's almost
chunk
like they
off.
want to fight every single time. It's almost like they just want you to challenge them.
Well, I don't know if it's that so much
Mm.
as let's see how much we can get.
We do have another phone call coming in. Good morning. You're on the air with Vanessa. Thank you for calling.
Yeah, good morning, good morning. I'm going to ask a question on behalf of Larry. Shouldn't Larry have submitted a claim to his automobile insurance company to cover the hospital expenses? What do they call it?
His PIP? Personal
I
injury.
can answer that. That was what was left over. In other words, it was higher than that.
Me too. Same thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
exhausted your PIP. Your $10,000.
whatever. No, not $10,000
Oh,
worth. I don't remember what it was, but it was higher than that. Maybe twice that amount. They paid like half of it or
Alright,
something.
alright.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Jim.
I stand corrected. Have a good morning, all.
Well, that was a good question because I didn't kind of tell the whole story, but that was a good point.
Yeah,
But-
because
but-
they
but-
Because the
paid.
cow didn't have insurance.
Yeah, but Larry's insurance paid $7,000 of my thing for that night, and I still got a bill for $1,000. So that still has to.
But I
be
wanted to parlay it into a question for Vanessa because that's why you're here. and my whole question, kind of the same question that Mike was asking, I think, or would have if he got to it. But that would be, for example, do I have, if I want to utilize the services of an attorney, it doesn't always have to be a lawsuit. It can simply be, can you write a letter on my behalf on your letterhead?
Absolutely. And that's what I do that for lots of clients. There's lots of clients who wish to settle it without ever bringing up a lawsuit. And they believe that it can be settled. They just need a third party to get involved.
And a letterhead that is from an attorney holds more weight than just coming from me.
And it looks, it's on nice,
My
fancy
uncle's-
linen paper.
Can you imagine my uncle's friends or Robin and the Giant on the letterhead? How serious is this guy?
These are
Well, I
goofy.
mean, I might take that seriously.
Good morning. You're on the air with Vanessa.
Good morning, everybody, and good morning, Vanessa.
Good morning.
See, if you have a lawn service cutting your lawn and your bushes and everything, and you've had them for several years, and when you initially hired them, on their business card they said they were bonded and insured, and in the meantime, because of the high expensive insurance, somewhere down the line, they dropped their insurance, never informed you about that. If anything happens, are you liable, or are they liable for not telling you that they're not insured anymore? What would be the situation there?
So we're presuming that they do something wrong to somebody
Well,
else
let's
other than
say,
you.
Obviously, yeah,
they
otherwise
got
there'd be
injured
nothing.
Or they injured somebody or did something wrong.
They ran your neighbor's kid over with a lawnmower.
Ooh.
Well, we have
Could've-
to
you
go
could've
big or
said-
go home. Go big or go
You could have
Yeah.
said ran over a
Dog.
toy or
Or
a
the dog.
dog.
we have a cat in the neighborhood that I wouldn't mind getting run over, but that's not the situation.
Oh no! Oh no!
Right. No, we like cats at the Jennings Law Firm. So we also like dogs and children. So let's
Can I
just
use
say,
the ladies' room there though?
at the Jennings Law Firm?
Yeah.
There's only one restroom. So you may use whatever restroom you want.
Okay. Good.
So what would end up happening at that point in time is because they're the ones who were arguably grossly negligent in that case, because we're going to presume that that's why the child or animal got run over. The person who was injured, or the family of the person who was injured, or the owner of the animal that was injured would then sue the lawn maintenance company. Now, if they don't have any money because you hired them, they would probably try, and you had deeper pockets, they could try to come after you. But then your whole defense would be you had nothing to do with that, and that you believe them.
I've got the initial business card that says bonded and insured on it from several years ago.
Correct.
And I recently had heard that this fellow does a lot of work for a lot of people in our area here, that somebody found out that he does not have insurance anymore for whatever reason. I guess because it's so expensive. So that's why I'm asking the question.
Anyone can sue you for any particular reason. But if you're not creating the act, if you're not doing the act yourself, I believe they're going to, especially when it's the lawn maintenance, they're going to have a harder time coming after your pockets. But it doesn't mean they're not going to try, even if he was licensed and bonded and insured.
Even if it was. Oh,
Right.
wow.
So even
Okay.
then, because the only thing that really says is that he is protected up into a certain dollar amount. So if it exceeded that dollar amount, they could still come after him and still potentially try to come after you. But they would more than likely be going after him first.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. We'll take a little break and we'll be right back. If you want to call Vanessa, the number is 622-9622. We will be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. On Friday, sunshine mixing with clouds. Watch out for an afternoon thunderstorm. High 86 near the coast, 92 inland. And partly cloudy Friday night, low 67 inland, 72 at the coast. Saturday, sunshine mixing with clouds. An afternoon thunderstorm in spots. High 85 near the coast, 92 inland. And Sunday, partly sunny. High 85 near the coast, 91 inland. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Since 1916, a lot of independent agents have recommended auto owners insurance, and a lot of parents have taken that recommendation to heart. So have a lot of their children, and grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. As we celebrate our first 100 years, Auto Owners Insurance thanks all those who have put their trust in us, and all the generations who will.
Call George Mangan Insurance in Ocala today, 352-732-3191.
You've got a garden and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
Hey, I'm Gary. And I'm Eric. Did you know that Red Eye Radio is on WOCA The Source every night from 2 to 6 a.m. and it's live?
That's right. No tape shows here.
We know that the news doesn't sleep.
And neither do we. So we're here with you live from 2 till 6 a.m. every weekday. Call us 866-90-RED-EYE. So join me, Gary McNamara.
And me, Eric Harley, every weeknight to discuss the latest in news and entertainment.
Right here on WOCA The Source.
Good credits, bad credits. It's none of our business because we're not an auto dealer. We're not a bank. We're not your mother. We're OcalaForSale.com. Marion County's marketplace for cars, trucks, and SUVs. We've got thousands of sellers standing by to take your call. No middleman. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to OcalaForSale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge, undercutting, rust-proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
All right, 7 minutes before 11 o'clock. Vanessa Lane Jennings is in the studio from the Jennings Law Firm here in Ocala. If you have if you need legal advice, legal assistance, if you need an attorney, Vanessa is here to answer your questions, or you might want to call Vanessa. A lot of times I think our legal circumstances are very emotional. People will, I'm sure it's an important part of what you do. In fact, I know this is because you've told us this, Vanessa, that quite often you have people in your office who are, going through things at a hard time. So it makes it harder to make a decision when it's emotional, doesn't it?
It does. It gets, when the emotions get involved and you're coming from a place of hurt or a place of anger. Instead of thinking in your logical mind, you would come to a different conclusion if your emotions weren't in it. Like if it was somebody else's situation, you would say, oh, here's a good resolution for it. But when it's your own situation, that same exact resolution that you would come up with doesn't seem fair or just or what you want to happen.
And since that's probably understood by most people, and especially attorneys and judges, that must explain why, when a divorce is happening, and maybe other circumstances too, that either the judge orders or maybe as an attorney you recommend a mediator. Am I right?
That's why mediation and divorce and family law matters is required by the courts.
Somebody who doesn't have an emotional investment in the circumstance.
Right, and it's also not me as the, let's say I represent the husband in that case.
Okay.
It's not my voice representing husband, and it's not wife's attorney's voice representing wife. It's a completely third person who says, okay, well, let me tell you what I hear. Okay, and then let me tell you, and I tend to use private mediators. They're in town who have been family law attorneys in the past. So they know the law, they know the judges, they know everybody, and they're able to say, this is what this judge will do. This is this judge's position. This judge tends to do this. This judge tends to do that. And when it's not your attorney telling you or not the other attorney saying, and it's a neutral party, it has a little bit more weight and a little bit more teeth. And you see more
really?
and you see more movement.
And so is the judge often, I don't know, given notes from the mediator? No. Okay.
It is a sacred meeting. Everything that happens in mediation is 100% confidential. So if the other side says something that's completely advantageous to our case, but it was part of a negotiation settlement, like the only reason I'm doing this is for money. We could never take that because it occurred in mediation and bring it up in court. We'd have to find a different way to bring that out.
Oh, wow. How do you do that? Secret tape recordings?
No, because that's illegal. Florida's a two-way state. Both parties have to know about the...
So if you're recording, I can't have a little recorder in my pocket and record my conversations?
If we're in what I deem to be or the law deems, not what I deem, but the law deems to be a private setting, then no, you cannot do that. So if you were, because we're at the mall, if you were at the mall and you recorded something, everyone's in a public place, their expectation of privacy is very low.
Oh, really?
Because they have very little expectation of privacy. But if we're sitting on your back porch and you're recording that conversation, that's illegal in the state of Florida unless I know about it.
We've only known two congressmen, and both of them great guys, and both of them always had a little recorder in their pocket at all times. I don't think necessarily for anything bad, but just so they would remember what they promised people. Because if you're talking to somebody public, at a meeting, you want to remember, what did I tell them, because there's so many people coming up to you. So that's legal? They're okay to do that? Or does the law apply differently to Congress?
Well, no, it does not apply. They might think it applies differently to them, but no. It depends what kind of situation that they were in.
Okay.
If they were outside at a huge rally that there was tons of people, that's a different situation. At least that would be their attorney's argument, that's a completely different situation than if they were at a small meet and greet in someone's house. Because I was a political campaign manager, so we did a lot of political events at people's houses.
That's right. You did the campaigns, yeah.
I did, yeah, for Congressman Schakowsky. But
so did you see the little pen recorder they have? It looks like a pen, and it records audio. Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen that?
I have not seen it, but to the best of my knowledge, she did not have that.
Okay.
And I say the best of my knowledge because you never know.
Yeah.
But you don't need a mediator if you go to one of those, to the people that write out the contracts, like they say affordable divorce and stuff, and you don't have an attorney.
Well, yes, you do. What that is, that's completely different. That's just a company and I think that they're great type companies. One of my friends owns not the affordable divorce; she owns the other company in town that does it. But what they do is they help people who can't afford an attorney fill out the paperwork. There's a mountain of paperwork for divorce, but all they do, they don't give you legal advice. They can't give you legal advice. All they will do is ask, if it says name, they'll say, what is your name? And they'll type it in. How many children do you have? 3. Okay, what are their names? What are their dates of birth? So they're just fact collectors, and they just fill in forms. They're fact collectors and form fillers. So you're paying the money for the forms, but then they're also normally a notary, so you get it all notarized, you get it all done, and you have your packet. They hand it back to you. The moment they hand it back to you, they're done. But you still have to go through the entire divorce process yourself. So you're still you have to go to the courthouse and file your paperwork. You're going to have to potentially go to mediation, a case management conference, a pretrial conference, and a final hearing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So there's no way around it. You got to follow the law. What was the thing this morning about the seatbelt law? Seatbelts in Florida are required in every for all the passengers, everybody, and that's not true for every state. Some states you're not required to have a seatbelt in the back seat.
Correct.
I didn't know that.
And I think there's one state, and I don't remember which one it is, the passenger doesn't have to have it.
We're almost out of time, Vanessa. What is your phone number?
My phone number is area code 352-804-0092.
All right, Vanessa, thank you so much for all you do and for help educating us about the law and for being a good sport because we throw you a lot of curveballs.
I like it.
All right, we'll be right back.
Died in the last week, including many that have died at the hands of airstrikes on medical facilities in and around Aleppo. On Wednesday night, forces loyal to the Assad regime, they bombed a hospital that was run by both Doctors Without Borders and the International Red Cross.
Fox's Connor Powell.
The Syrian government, though, says that a mosque was hit today by rebels.